Welcome back, everybody. This is episode number 9 of the Rice and Beans podcast. I'm Manny.
And I'm Ian. And for today's episode, we're going to do something a little different and talk about, clubbing, what to do during pre-games, what to do and not get a hangover, tips on what meal you should eat if you're hungover. And by the end of the episode, we also have a couple of club reviews as well here in LA. We're going to start doing a series on that as well. So I guess you could say this is the first part of the series where we just pick a club and then we go kind of a little bit more in detail about, how we like the club, what are some positives about it, what are some negatives about it, what crowd you'll, most likely see at that club. And then by the end, we'll probably give a rating out of 10. So, we wanted to ask the first question though. What are some tips, for our fans out there for pre-gaming so you don't have to buy a lot of drinks at the clubs? Because I know for me, and I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I do have some trouble of spending a lot of money at clubs because I'm not like that drunk, it seems like, whenever I get to the club.
I don't know. I guess everybody just has to know their limits, right? Like you got to know after this amount of drinks, I'm probably going to get too drunk. So I'd say once you know your limit, make a game out of it just to make it fun. Like, drink a shot every 5 minutes until you reach whatever you is your limit. So if your limit is 6 without getting overly drunk, do it.
See, the weird thing is, I don't know if you realize or if you notice, but what I notice on like the last few weeks we've been going out, every time I pregame at our crib, like I'm drunk here, right? Like I'm super drunk here, but I don't know if it happens to you guys as well. But every time I go to the club, I walk in and I'm like sober. Like my drunk, honestly, compared to like my drunk at the crib, it just like I just go completely sober by the time we get to the club, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like,
honestly, I feel like it's a little bit of maybe the drive because we typically Uber like 30 minutes, so that's gonna do something. But I think it's also the environment because at a bar, there's so many more people, so many more things going on.
Right.
Like you don't feel as drunk versus when you get at home or when you're at home, you're just sitting down. There's nothing going on. So I feel like you can you focus more on the drunkenness.
Or my thesis on this is you think because like obviously we're at home, we're comfortable. It's like all of our friends here, we're all drinking and the vibes like then obviously you're drunk. Yeah. But you think is when you get to the club, it's like, the club environment, the club atmosphere, there's like hundreds of people. Or even if you get to the club early, there's like no one there. Yeah. You think that like sobers you up like mentally? You're just like, oh shit, like either no one's here and you're just like, oh, this is whack, and it kind of like sobers you up, or if there's like a lot of people, you're just like, holy shit, there's a lot of people, and then that sobers you up.
Yeah, I think partially, honestly,
I don't know, it's weird. Like I've never had an instance where our pregame went super hard here, and at the club I was so drunk that I didn't have to buy a drink. I would always end up being like sober. Honestly,
I've had it happen to me where I'm drunk here and I'm still drunk there. But I feel like, it really just comes down to your environment. Because if there's more going on, you're kind of like you said, you're like, oh shit, like there's stuff around me. One time that I noticed it drastically, I was at home, like my mom's house, right? And I typically wouldn't drink at my mom's house. Right. If I drank, I'd drink with friends or anybody or any other place, college or something. But one time I went home and I had like 3 beers, which is nothing. And I could notice like, oh shit, like I could feel there's 3 beers in my system versus when I was in college, I couldn't feel shit off those 3 beers because I was surrounded by more people, and 3 beers, shit, that's just to get started. But when I was home, I was like, oh, I actually noticed a difference. Yeah. So
I don't know. Maybe it's just like a mental thing. I don't know. Comment below if that ever happens to you guys. But I just thought that was interesting, kind of what I've realized. Like I've never been super faded to where I wouldn't have to buy a drink. I would always have to buy a fucking drink there.
I feel like part of it also is just the awkwardness of not having a drink in your hand. Do you think that plays into it?
at least for me, a lot of the times, like, I want to get a drink just so I can have a drink.
Yeah.
Because it's so awkward. I don't know for you guys, but for me, it's fucking, I feel awkward when I'm just standing there, like, just nothing in my hands, you know?
Yeah.
Like, legit, it just feels weird to me. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's either I have a drink in my hand or it's, you know, like you said, get shots, you know, because we're doing something instead of, like, standing there.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
But I guess at that point, if pre-gaming doesn't really make a difference, if my mindset's like needing a drink when I'm at the club.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just my goal in the pregame is to not buy drinks.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
I know what I found out recently too for a pregame.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the times, I don't know. Well, we haven't done it, but my other friend group, like, we always pregame at the parking lot before going into the club.
Oh yeah.
Or like in your car. That's honestly probably the best because you're legit right there.
Yeah.
And pre-gaming in the parking lot or in your car, and before you go in, like, I think the last time I did that, I only bought like 2 or 3 drinks, and that was only because, you know, I wanted to have a drink in my hand because I felt, you know, awkward without it. But yeah, I think that worked for me the last time, so I might start doing that again. But some clubs don't have parking lots, or like, you know, it's kind of hard to pre-game at very close to the club itself. But, you know, it did work, so that was pretty nice.
Yeah, shit. For pre-gaming, I'd say, what do you do for pre-game, actually? You asked me, how do I prep in the pre-game? How do you prep in the pre-game?
I mean, it's the same. I feel like it's the same as everyone. I just take shots. I think now I only take shots because I've been on that diet, so I'm not drinking, like, any seltzers, any beer. I think I did drink a beatbox though last week, and that kind of got me pretty drunk because one guy had like 6 of them, and he couldn't finish it in time before we got in, so he just gave one for everyone in the group. Yeah. And then he gave me one. I was like, oh shit! So I had to like chug it. Bro, that shit's strong, dude. That shit's strong.
I've never had one, actually.
It's fire. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. Beatbox,
they're wine, right?
I think so. I'm not sure, honestly, but it's pretty fire. But yeah, I had to chug the whole thing, and I think that kind of got me like pretty cool for the night.
Dang. Huh.
But yeah, I mean, just shots. I think that's kind of goes for everyone. I don't really have anything special for the pregame.
Yeah.
I think, you know, if I were to give out a tip, just pregame before like you go into the club. I feel like that's probably the best bet, because the ride over is gonna take a while. You know, waiting in line. A lot of these clubs have fucking fat ass lines. That's gonna take a while. So that'll be my only tip, I guess.
Yeah. Like you said, just pregame, because the drinks in any bar, any club are gonna be fucking tax.
Yeah, that shit. It adds up, dude. Especially when you're drunk, you're just like, oh, come on, let's get a drink. Fuck it. At least for me, that's just like, I just fucking spend when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
That's what I hate about it.
Yeah, because basically at most places, 2 or 3 shots is going to equal what you would have paid for the fucking bottle itself.
I know, that's just so annoying.
Yeah, like a tequila shot, let's say, is like $10-15, right?
Yeah.
Average 15.
Yeah.
2 shots, that's 30. That's a cheap tequila bottle. That's like Hornitos right there.
Yeah.
If you get 3 shots, that's almost a full Casamigos shot. Casamigos bottle.
Bro. Drinks at clubs are scams. Fuck
Super
that
scam.
Shit.
Super scam.
But I guess kind of transitioning. What are some tips on kind of how to prevent hangovers?
Ooh.
Because, you know, we've been talking about fucking
drinking
pre-gaming. You know, the worst part about drinking and going out, obviously, is the fucking hangover the next morning. Some days, that shit affects me for a couple days.
Yeah.
Sucks ass. I hate it so much. But do you have any ways to kind of help prevent hangovers?
Yeah. I'd say I used to do this a lot more back in the day. Now, I for some reason, I stopped doing it. Yeah. But I would always chug an entire water bottle before I went to sleep. Like, that was one thing that I made sure to do right before I laid down. Right. Chug a whole water bottle. And you'd think maybe like, oh, shit, you might have to take a piss because that's a lot of water. But not really, since your system's dehydrated. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck happens to that water. It just gets absorbed or some shit. But you don't really wake up with like a feeling to go to the bathroom. Yeah. So I would do that. And then have you seen it? You've seen electrolytes, right? Yeah. Have you? If anybody has seen electrolytes, let us know what you think about them. I think they're okay, but
I think there's some better than
yeah.
electrolytes because
Yeah.
I used to do electrolytes, but what really helps is that I do emergency. So instead of water, I mean, obviously you gotta mix it with water, but
I put it in milk or something.
Emergency is so good. Like before you go to sleep, because that shit has electrolytes, vitamin C, antioxidants. I think like vitamin A and E. It has like all the vitamins in it.
Oh shit.
So that's why I kind of did that instead of electrolytes, because electrolytes is just mainly electrolytes.
Yeah.
But emergency has everything. So I would just get a water, put in a cup, put emergency, mix it, chug that shit, and then go to sleep. 9 times out of 10, I would wake up the next morning feeling, pretty good.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not gonna cure it like fully, but it helps a little bit. And yeah, that's probably what I recommend is doing emergency.
But I was gonna ask how expensive is emergency, because I don't really buy emergency myself.
I think like a box emergency at Costco comes in like a 30 pack or 50 pack. It comes in a fat ass pack. It's like $30. It's like the same price as liquid IV. You know how we get those liquid IVs?
Yeah. Oh, shit. So that's basically $1 per emergency.
Yeah.
And that's gonna help you a lot if you're fucking hungover.
That shit fucking helps, bro.
I haven't done it myself, but I would recommend just from the sounds of it.
I think the best part is doing one before you go to sleep and taking one right when you wake up. So I usually do before I go to sleep and take one when I wake up, and that shit fucking helps so much.
Yeah.
Another tip before you go to bed is eating something. Eat food.
Yeah.
This could be something that, a lot of you guys know already, but I highly recommend if, obviously if you're if you're blacked out drunk, you're not going to remember any of these things to do before you go to bed. Yeah. But if you have some memory, if you have some consciousness, definitely eat some food. Yeah, I mean, the drunchies, like, it helps, honestly. It doesn't give you as mean hangovers compared to if you don't eat anything, because, like, when you eat food, it kind of absorbs a lot of the, shit in your system, the bad shit in your system. So I would recommend eating something. I mean, eat whatever. There's not necessarily, like, a certain food you have to eat.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that next. Like, I don't really eat when I'm drunk, but it seems like you do. Yeah. Is there anything that you've noticed that works better, like eating?
Well, the only thing is
meat or eating like bread or something like that.
I mean, just every time I'm drunk, I just eat like
whatever.
Honestly, I mean, most of the meals I eat, it has like carbs, meat, veggies, like everything.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, just eat something. Get some like fast food. Fast food is always fire, because it's all greasy and shit. So that helps out a lot. All right. But question for you though. What do you think is the best meal for a hangover? So this is if you happy little night, you forgot, you got too drunk, you forgot to do the emergency tip, you forgot to eat before you go to sleep, so you're hungover as fuck the next morning. Yeah. What's a good meal? And you can't pick pho, because pho is the most basic ass shit, and everyone obviously would pick that number one. Like I would pick that number one, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, I would too. But I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with this dish yourself. All my Mexican people are probably going to be familiar with this. Menudo.
Oh,
menudo.
I've heard of that. Isn't that like it was like a soup base and it has like tripe and shit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I know
it's
that
like,
shit.
Yeah, it's like basically some soup broth kind of thing with tripe. Yeah. And I don't really eat it that often, but it just helps a lot. Yeah, it's just good.
It's probably because of the broth part, huh?
Yeah, and then adding hella salsa, so to make it spicy. Because I think that's
to sweat it out.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people like pho so much because of the sriracha that you add in there.
Well, at least has like the broth because whatever they put in the broth, like it cures you.
Yeah.
But the sriracha, like the spice helps out.
And then there are some people out there that don't like tripe, right?
Tripe is so good. Yeah,
there's some people that don't. So if you don't like it, I'd say pozole. Pozole. Have you ever tried?
I don't know if I had pozole.
It's basically it's like a soup basically as well with like corn.
Yeah.
Oh, and shit. Yeah, then they add like chicken. Add some salsa in that bitch too. Put some cut up cabbage. Some radish.
That sounds good.
Gas.
Yeah.
That would be
Honestly,
my recommendation.
for me, sometimes like a lot of times when I'm hungover, I don't know what it is, but I crave hella Mexican food whenever I'm hungover. It's either my go-to would be either just getting like a plate of tacos or getting like a fat ass burrito.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but when I'm hungover, it's either Mexican that I'm craving or fast food.
Yeah.
And the fast food options that I love when I'm hungover is either Dave's Hot Chicken or Raising Cane's.
I used to like it a lot. We ate it a lot.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking.
For
I don't know
few
why.
months. Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, we ate it a lot for a few months, so now I can't do it anymore. Raising Cane's, we haven't gone to. I'm down to go to Raising Cane's. I mean, we haven't gone to in a while.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that you like. What do you recommend to cure the hangover, though? What's your recommendation?
Honestly, that kind of helps me cure. I would recommend like Dave's to cure because, well, it really depends because I'm good with spicy food. So what I do is at Dave's, I always get the spicy, like the one below the Reaper, and it helps me like, you know, it's fire, it's oily, it's greasy, and it's spicy. So, you know, at the end, I'm like sweating a little bit. So I sweat out the alcohol. Yeah.
Dave's, that's interesting. I never would have thought. I never would have thought. I knew we ate it often, but I figured it was just because it was so close to us.
I mean, I feel like anything soup related is like would fucking help with the hangover cure.
Yeah.
But so I have a club in mind. Do you want to go first on what you want to talk about?
My club would be Club 54. This is in Pasadena. So from our house, it's like a 25-minute drive, I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
So it is a little far for us. They do have a cover of $20, 15 or 20.
Yeah, 15, I think.
Yeah, $15. So that's one part that I kind of don't like, but because most bars don't really have a fucking cover, but $15 ain't bad. So I'm not necessarily like complaining about it, but it's kind of extra. So my first time going in, I was like, what the fuck? Why are we paying for a bar? I don't even know what the fuck it's like. And I liked it, so I don't mind paying the $15. It's just extra. You go in, there's 3 floors. There's the main floor, which has a bar. As soon as you walk in, music kind of changes, so, but I'll get to the music in a bit. Second floor also has a bar to the left of it, and it has a bunch of poles. I don't know if they were meant to be like for people to dance on, like a stripper pole.
I mean, probably if it's there. Like I highly doubt they just put it there for design.
Yeah, and then they have the tables on the outer end in case people want to get tables. But I don't know why. I feel like Club 54 doesn't seem like a bottle service place, like a good bottle service place. Like I wouldn't want to go to Club 54 for bottle service.
No. Well,
what do you think?
Even think. Oh, do they even have tables? I don't even notice like tables.
On the second floor, they have them on the like on the very far edge.
Oh,
they have them on the far edge.
Yeah, see, that's like
right next to the DJ.
That's how you know like you wouldn't want to get a table there. Like you don't even know where the fucking tables are at. Like it's not really noticeable. I mean, especially when you're drunk. Like I didn't even realize there was tables at the second floor.
Honestly, I didn't notice until the last time we went when I was looking off in the distance, and then I could see people like grabbing their shots, and I was like, what the fuck, where are they grabbing their shots from? Because I don't see a fucking bar there. And then I saw the table and then the seats. I was like, what the fuck? That's fucking tables for bottle service?
Yeah, it's such a weird design because the tables are there, I guess, and then the DJ's like in the middle, like facing like that way. It's facing at no tables. Like if you get a table, you won't be facing the DJ at all.
So, well, from what I remember, this on the second, the top floor, the top floor.
Because you're saying it's on the side, right?
Yeah.
The DJ.
No. So
like the bar's here. And then the tables are here, right?
No, the tables are over here on the very far end.
Oh, on the
far end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird setup. I think, honestly, it's a weird setup for bottle service. I don't recommend it, at least from what I've seen. Yeah. And then there's the basement. The basement is very small. It gets very fucking hot.
Yeah.
There is one bar at one of the corners, but it's a very small bar. And now for music, that basement seems to always have reggaeton. They seem to never change, at least from when I've gone.
Yeah.
The middle floor, which is basically the base floor, as soon as you walk in, ground floor, that one has either played reggaeton or EDM.
Have they played EDM?
Yep.
Oh,
they played EDM one time.
I didn't even realize, bro.
Yeah. They were playing EDM one time.
Because I just remember like the third floor be the only floor that didn't play reggaeton.
Yeah,
like, that was the only one I noticed that were like, I'm like, oh, okay, they're playing like different music. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
And then the top floor, they've also played reggaeton.
Yeah, but they have more options.
And hip hop.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you heard.
Yeah, that's what I remember for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember the ground floor being fucking like EDM music. I didn't know that.
I remember them playing EDM one time. Oh, shit. So
was it just like one song, or were they playing it?
No,
like
they played a few. They played a few.
Shit.
So
I remember that.
All three floors played reggaeton, but the top floor can play hip hop. The middle floor can play EDM, but that's all I've heard from them. I don't know if I've heard anything else, but I've only gone there 2-3 times.
Right.
So and
what would you say would be like the biggest downside?
Biggest downside.
Yeah. Biggest negative.
Dang, that's hard. I'd say drinks being inconsistent, I feel like. At least from my experience. I feel like from my experience. Yeah.
The fucking bartenders like gave us like 75% tequila and like 25%
exactly
chase.
So typically the ground floor has like normal drinks, I guess you could say. They're like not strong, they're not weak. It's like a good mix.
Right.
The top floor, fucking strong as shit.
Right. But I think the reason is because the bartenders on the top floor, they were faded.
Oh shit.
Like all the you didn't notice that shit?
I don't remember.
Bro, they were not able to like stand up straight and like walk like straight.
I don't remember. Maybe I was so drunk
that's why, because the top floor they made the drink so strong, because there was 2 bartenders there I noticed that were super drunk. So they were like, you know, wobbling, getting the drinks, and like they would grab the drinks and they're like, oh, pouring it, and like, you know, they're pouring more because they're drunk, so they're like a lot more nicer.
Yeah. I did not notice that.
Yeah, and so that's why with the top floor, that's why they gave a lot more alcohol.
Yeah.
They were pretty fucking drunk.
Yeah. Okay.
Like not just like
I guess that
like
answers that
drunk,
question.
But like
they were faded.
Further drunk, like.
Yeah. Okay. Damn. So I guess that's why that night they were so inconsistent from floor to floor.
Yeah.
But I'd say that's my biggest con. And
what would you give a rating from like from up to 10?
Up to 10.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And you know, obviously 10 is like perfect. You know, 8, 9 is really good. You could also do like decimal points.
Yeah.
So we know, you know.
Yeah. I'd say it was like a 7.4-ish.
7.4? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because I feel like if you're looking for a Hispanic vibe,
right,
it's definitely got it.
Right.
Like the crowd is pretty cool. The music's pretty good.
Yeah.
Drinks are pretty good. They have different floors, so different options.
Yeah.
Overall, it's pretty good if you're looking for that.
Right.
But if you're looking for anything other than a Hispanic vibe, it's not going to be for you, because it's just straight up Hispanic.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're looking for, I recommend it. I'd say 7.4, because it's not
solid.
It's not fucking like so sick that like I want to go back, or else I'd be going back every weekend.
Yeah.
But like it's one of my favorites so far.
No, that's solid. Yeah, that's a solid score. I probably, if I would have to rate it, I'd probably be close to yours, maybe like 7.2.
Okay.
On the lower end of 7. Just because like I could appreciate the, you know, the Mexican culture for sure. But I think it tends to play too much. And obviously, you know, I don't know if it's a really good sign if having the bartenders be like super faded a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's
true. Only like my downsides of that.
How about you? What's your favorite club?
Yeah. So my favorite club. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't really have a definitive favorite club, but I wanted to talk about this club just because it's probably one of the bigger clubs. It's in K-Town. It's called Terracotta. If you're an LA native, K-Town native, if you're Asian from SoCal, you've all probably heard of Terracotta. But, you know, if you're watching this and you're from, you know, if you're visiting or if you, you know, just moved, I would recommend Terracotta just because it's a good gateway club if you are into the, you know, Asian vibe. But the good thing about Terracotta, though, is they don't rely on, the Asian vibe. They don't play like all Asian music. It's not that at all. Like they play all hip hop, EDM music. So it's a lot of pop culture shit. Anyone could really go there and you'll enjoy it. It's not going to be like secluded to one ethnicity or one race, and you're going to feel like excluded. So anyone's welcome. But I think with Terracotta, it's there you will see a lot of Asians. Like
there's like
there will be hella Asians there.
So many.
Don't get me wrong. Like they don't like advertise as Asian club, or like they don't play a lot of Asian music and shit. To like they just have a lot of Asian people there.
I mean, it's in Koreatown, so
it's in Koreatown, so it does make sense. But I guess some things I do like about Terracotta, it's a huge club, I would say, compared to other clubs we've been to.
Yeah,
it's only one story, but it's a big club. You walk in, there's a huge dance stage on the right hand side, and the DJ is like right there. And the good thing about the setup is the tables are around the dance floor. That's what I like about clubs, is having it around the dance floor and then the DJ is there.
For sure.
I don't know why some clubs like to fucking change that shit up. I feel like
put it in
like,
the corner or some shit.
I'm like, bro, just keep it simple. That's the best setup. So the people who get a table would get to see the DJ and enjoy, and then obviously they could go to the dance floor, go back to the table, all that shit, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
But I think one really sick thing about Terracotta is that they have a smoke section.
Oh, yeah, the back?
Yeah, so they have a smoke section. It's outside in the back of the club, but it's, it's pretty big fucking section too. So if you need to like smoke, you could literally walk out there and then come back into the club. They're hella cool about it. That's what I like about it, because a lot of clubs don't have that option. Like, a lot of people have to sneak kid in, all that shit, and they end up always getting kicked out.
Yeah.
But Terracotta, like, you don't have to worry about it. Just go to the back, smoke, and then come back in whenever you're ready. So.
Yeah, I mean, there is still dumbass people that
there's still people always getting kicked out, including our group, but
Yeah, because then they still decide to hit their device inside, even though there's a fucking smoke zone.
I know, it
happens.
It happens. I mean,
being drunk.
That shit happens. I actually see that a lot, which is actually kind of funny.
Yeah, because I've gotten caught. So
oh, that's right. I forgot. This motherfucker. Yeah. I remember that.
It was crazy because we went, and then it wasn't even my device. I just asked somebody to hit it, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, sure." I hit it, and then the fucking security guard takes it out of my hand, and I was like, I just look at the person, and I was like, "Fuck, I feel so bad for you, man." And then I just Venmo'd the guy.
That's just hella funny.
I was like, "All right."
Yeah. But yeah, that does happen a lot. But I would say one dislike though about Terracotta is that it could get fucking packed. There's some days where, because a lot of people, that's like the go-to spot for a lot of people in K-Town. So it gets fucking packed. And the shitty part is if you wait too long in your pregame, you happen to go to Terracotta past like 11, like it could be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes after 11. That fucking line outside, holy shit, it's so fucking long. You basically wouldn't be able to get in at that point.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like, you have to kind of,
Do they have a cover? No, right?
They don't have a cover. So
I think they should add a cover.
Yeah, I mean, shit. But the thing is, I think they're so popular that they probably don't need a cover.
The thing is, if they have lines that big, might as well fucking make some extra revenue from the cover. Even $10.
Yeah,
like,
don't ask me.
It might lower the line a little bit, but fucking extra money for them. Whoever the owner of Terracotta is, you can easily get away with a $10 charge. I'm telling you this right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. You would have to plan accordingly for sure if you're trying to go to Terracotta. You can't like nilly-dilly, take your time, because if you take too much of your time, you're not going to get in.
Yeah. I was going to ask, wasn't there one time when you tried to go and you got there late and waited for like 30 minutes and it was barely even moving?
Yeah. We had a cut.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I think one of my homegirls, she just like pretended to be friends with like this one group who was at the front. So then we were just like, okay, we just snuck in. But if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have gone in.
Yeah, and weren't you already waiting for 30 minutes and you still had to cut?
Yeah. That's just ass. That's
waiting 30 minutes and then still have to cut to get in.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's like the only really downside to Terracotta, I would say. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it gets packed. There are some times where it'll be just straight Asians. Like, I think one time when we went, he was
basically every
Mexican,
time. What do you mean?
And then
there was like one white guy.
And then one white guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the only downside.
I was gonna mention that earlier, that if you do go, like I had mentioned, they don't necessarily promote like Asian culture or like Asian music or anything like that, but it is very Asian heavy.
Yeah.
Like he just mentioned, typically whenever we've gone, I'm like one of two non-Asian in the entire club. Yeah. For the most part.
Yeah. So if you guys like Asians, recommend that club for you.
I fuck with it still, but
if I had to give it a score though, out of 10,
I'm actually interested to hear this.
I'd probably say like an 8.3.
Really?
8.4. I'd say
really?
8.4. Yeah. 8.4.
Oh dang.
Just because it's like the club has to be really good in order to get in the 9s, I would say. So I'd say 8. Anywhere in the 8s is like fucking pretty like still pretty good club. But I think the reason why it's in the 8s is just because it's kind of a generic club, right? Yeah. And they don't get any like big name DJs. It's like some clubs like get big name DJs, and I would say those type of clubs will be like 9s.
Yeah. But
it's just a generic club, fun club if you're in K-Town. Nothing like too special about it, but it's fun. It's good times. Yeah, I would say. So, what would you rate it?
Not in the 8s.
Oh, what, like a 7?
It'd probably be like a 7.2 or something. 7.2 in my opinion. Just because, like,
really?
Yeah, that's my personal opinion though. Just because, like, the music is nothing special. The vibe. Yeah,
but at least they don't like exclude.
Yeah. That's
so it fits everyone. Like, yes, you only see Asians, but literally anyone could go because it doesn't exclude any race. They just play pop culture shit, any trendy songs. They just play that. They're like, you don't see them just play like fucking like all K-pop music or like all Japanese music. So like people will be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, it's pretty included. So that's why I put it in the 8s, and that's why I put like Club 54 in the 7s, just because of that difference.
Yeah. I do agree that the music is more inclusive, but I feel like whenever I've gone, I don't know if I've ever necessarily like had fun. Like it's cool. Mm-hmm. Like I don't mind.
It's just because like it's just majority of like Asians. Huh?
I feel like maybe because I just feel out of place. But
I feel like you need to get out of that mentality though, because like when I go to Club 54, like I don't have that really mentality. It's just like I'm just at another club, you know. There just happens to be a predominant race there, but it's just like just have fun.
Yeah,
I mean, Club 54, like it doesn't really help because they do play hella reggaeton music. So I'm like, oh fuck, okay. So it kind of reminds you, like beats you down. You're like, okay, you're at like a Spanish, like. This is meant for, you know, Spanish people, so I'm just like, okay, I get it. But I feel like Terracotta, like, you know, if you don't have that mindset of like, oh, I feel so out of place, I feel like you have a better time there, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every time I've gone, like, I end up talking to, like, random people because I'm not going to just stand there in a corner or something. But even then, like, I feel like I don't really find it fun. Like, it's cool. Like, it's cool, but I don't know. Like, it's okay. But I don't know if I would ever personally be like, hey guys, let's go to Terracotta. Like if anybody says let's go to Terracotta, like I'm down. But I don't ever see myself like initiating like, hey, let's go to Terracotta.
So what clubs though would you like what is above Terracotta, you would say? I don't think Club 54 is above Terracotta.
I personally put it there. But if we're talking about, let's say, like even just like Koreatown, I think Lock and Key's better in my opinion.
Oh, I don't think so.
I like Lock and Key way better.
Lock and Key's hella small, bruh.
I don't know. I
like the music. I like it better. Speakeasy. It's not technically a club
or bar. Yeah, anything.
Yeah, so it's like I don't think it's better than Terracotta just because it's hella small. I mean, I like Lock and Key. I would probably rate it like somewhere similar, but it is lower than Terracotta for me. Just because it's like it's pretty small. It's a speakeasy. You know, it's fucking the same situation at Terracotta. Like, if you don't get there at a certain time, you're probably not going to get in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I prefer Lock and Key though over Terracotta.
I think it's just because there's a lot of Asians, huh?
I mean, there's a lot of Asians in Lock and Key too.
Not really. Lock and Key when we went, it was pretty diverse.
Yeah. Maybe, but I just find it more fun.
That's what it is.
I think the music's better too though, because it's more hip hop. It's way more hip hop.
Dude, they play the same shit. Terracotta plays like the same shit.
No, but it's way more hip because Terracotta is more EDM, I feel like.
Nah, they play the same shit. Like they play a mix of both.
I just feel like I've had more fun. Yeah. That's
I don't know.
That's
Anyways,
me.
comment below if you
Let
guys
us know what you
ever
think.
been. Let us know. See who's wrong, who's right. I mean, obviously it's different opinions, and obviously different viewpoints. But hope you guys liked today's episode. Catch us back on Tuesday for, I think it's gonna be our 10th special. 10th video special.
10th video special.
Yeah.
Dang.
Hope you guys have a great weekend. If you guys decide to drink, stay safe. Try not to get a hangover. But yeah.
Drink safely. Like, subscribe, comment, follow.
Peace out, guys.